And greetings. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat Conversation Session number 24. Today, we start you off with a triple dose. Well, see, I originally planned a double dose today, but when I picked the two songs that I wanted, Kiddo got involved and said, "Please, Jen, would you play this one too?" So I said, "Okay." So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first song, it will be Kiddo's choice, followed by the two that I decided for today's stream. Sit back and enjoy. I will be right back.
That heart can beat. That heart can breathe. I said breathe, no breathing. I said breathe, no breathing. Yeah. That mouth can speak. That eye can breathe. I said talk to me, no conversation. I said move, a dead vibration. Yeah, I see these people walk. I see these people talk. I see these people lie. I see these people die. I see these people walk. I see these people talk. I see these people lie. I see these people die. I see these people walk. I see these people talk. I see these people lie. I see these people die. I see these people walk. I see these people talk. I see these people lie. I see these people die. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 I see these people walk. I see these people talk. I see these people lie. I see these people die. Mary, an angel she was, said always be true, said always be real. Don't lie to your nets, don't lie to yourself. And what was the game of life? This life is ended, suffer to death. Angels can lie and martyrs will lie. Searching for the truth tonight. Searching for the truth in mankind. I close my eyes from hate. I close my eyes for pain. Thought about me, and thought about you. Said always be real, said always be true. And you will see, no one can do any harm to you. Mary's life ended, suffered to death. Angels can lie and martyrs will lie. Searching for the truth tonight. Searching for the truth in mankind. I close my eyes from hate. I close my eyes for pain. The devil in the underground, the angel on the overground, the devil and the angel, someday will meet on God's ground. The devil in the underground, the angel on the overground, the devil and the angel, someday will meet on God's ground. Trying to understand, friends help me too. It's getting clearer day by day. try to understand. Friends help me too. It's getting clearer, day by day, and day by day. I'm sorry, my friend. I hope I am still your friend. And if I am no more, I will be again. It wasn't right, I know. Feelings are uncontrolled. They are just like little souls and sometimes go. I'm sorry, my friend. I hope I am still your friend. And if I am no more, I will be again. And I didn't want to hurt you. I took the easy way. But it's not pleasant to be ignored. Don't let me be. Don't let me be the devil in your life. No. Don't let me be the devil in your life, in your life, in your life, in your life. Don't let me be the devil in your life, in your life, in your life, in your life. Don't let me be the devil in your life, in your life. In your
Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat Conversation Session number 24 with me, your host, Jin of the Lamp, your interfere. Chaotic posts. What an imagination. Yeah, but it sparks an intrigue. It sparks a thought. Damn near everything I've ever posted, to a degree, and anything we say and anything that we read is metaphorized to a degree. Something written down to help you remember how you want to explain it, how you want to explain things. It helps to a degree. Hence why I post about 5 days. Just crazy schemes, crazy thoughts that help me create a metaphor in a memory fashion that I can somehow explain and relate, if I can, to a degree. I guess it's called craziness to a degree, right? Insanity. Go get medicated. Go get checked out. I've got stream by stream, I laugh more and more. And the Joker scheme, at least within me, comes more and more into reality. What was once a fantasy. Excusez-moi. French. Kiddo had requested that very first song, by the way. She likes to sing along. So I gave you a heads up for the triple dose. That was the very first post, at least. I started off for the stream. Let's go back to the very beginning. Let's start getting chaotic immediately. Well, actually, how did I introduce the stream? Because I did want to explain that. A child knows to learn, and an adult things to teach in any degree of knowledge and metaphor characterization that you can possibly come up with. I could only imagine you understand that, as children are typically built and programmed to pay attention, so I know how to and speak. Right? It's a natural thing to always be paying attention so that I know how to walk. What are they doing? I want to do that. Ah, they are writing. I want to do that. Oh, well, they are watching. I want to do that. Oh, they're cooking. I want to learn that. It's a natural thing. But the adult, on the other hand, has to think about how to translate what they're saying so that the child understands the meaning behind the words used in a conversation that they heard, asked about a word, wanted to know what you meant. After the hellos and everything, I suppose. Hard for me to talk about that, right? Because I didn't have that experience. No, I started off with an immediate talker, but not much of a learner. No, doesn't like to. Well, nobody cares what you want. You need to. It's interesting. Interesting, the programming, I guess, some kids may or may not end up coming up with. Anyway, a child knows to learn. She does know that. She just doesn't like forced learning. It's a different. See, it's very selective. She's deficient every other fucking time. When she's forced to do it, she starts being deficient on everything. And, yeah, they're going to tell me, the school system, that she's got ADD. No. Nah. Okay. And an adult has to think to teach. Not only that, the career choices. How I'm surprised. First of all, I guess those of us with the affordance end up with like home care or something like that, or a daycare. I know you have to sometimes. I understand. See the sacrifices we end up making. It kind of reminds me of an old story my dad once shared with me about a customer of his during his time of working, who practically owned a mountain in New York. Very wealthy client. My dad was a driver, a limo driver. One of the stories that he shared was a comment that the house was always empty. And the client ended up saying, well, what do you think? Money is everything? And he says, well, I'd like to have some money, my dad. He says, John, let me tell you something. The client says this. At least this is the way the story was shared to me. You ever seen my wife? You ever seen my kids? You know I have them. Have you ever seen them around? No, actually, I haven't. That's because they only come for me when they need money. I was never there for them except when I got them things. And now that's all they see me as. To each their own sacrifices, I guess, in this life, right? Put what you need to on the side, and you forget the small seedlings of the tree of life. To a degree. What a circle. What a circle of loops. All right, let's start off with the very first post, because this one, well, this whole week kind of relates to mothers in general, but specifically females. Some of the most powerful and subdued, the other 50% that we don't acknowledge. We'll get into the explanation a little bit more as the posts start to unfold a little bit. Let's start off with the very first post first, right? You can't live with, but you can't live without. Here's a conversation about mothers and their fuckers. The tools used for and against, with or without consent. That, if you knew me, would have known that that's where it was leading. Okay. An interesting saying. Let's start off with, you can't live with them, but you can't live without them. And I know we use that for like everyday things now. It's become a generalized subject. But typically when it was in its heyday, it was a male speaking against a female. Typically his wife, his girlfriend, or whatever. But you can't live with them, but you can't live without them. Actually, you definitely need to learn how to live with. And it's true, I guess. You actually can't. You can't. You cannot. Would you? But you cannot live without them. To a degree. to a degree of dimensional belief and understanding. I have a sneeze coming. Give me a moment. Let me mute this. You know that feeling when it goes away, that burn it leaves behind? It stings! Just come out. It's much easier. That's a saying I kind of say around here a lot, but it doesn't not come out. It's easier. Just die. It's easier. Sometimes I get a cough fest. Just die. It's much easier. Tito, to each their own. I have quite a few sayings, I guess. No, but in this new life of mine, to a degree, just die. It's easier. I mean, it's an interesting saying to use in the black hole of the universe. I've just expanded my metaphor from the black hole of the world to the universe, because we'll be talking about Big Bang and things like that a little bit later on. Can't live without a conversation about mothers and their fuckers, the tools used for and against. Specifically, the woman's mind, mental capacity, mental prowess over the male's mental capability. Naturally, I believe. So excusez-le-moi, pardonnez-le-moi, move on out of here if you don't like it. Naturally, I believe a male is born with the physical dominance over the mental dominance, and the female counterpart born with the mental dominance over physical dominance. And put two and two together, they learn to master the mentality and the physicality together. Crazy scheme, chaotic, absolutely. Beyond that, beyond all that, what does the mental capability come with? Mental capability, what does that come with? It comes with specifically the nurturing aspect of a mother, the female role, to a degree. Let's just get a somewhat of a understanding line of a natural account of things in the Jinn of the Lamp way of thinking. But I am apparently the only amp here, so I have no other mind to potentially bounce off ideas off of. I've done that throughout my life already, and I've experienced my own personal ideological, metaphorical use of confirmations, and now I'm spieling them to my own degree, as always. What does that power come with? And those of you who are mothers will already know what that power is, especially after I say what it is. Ready? It is the recognition of the human behavior, the confirmation of a human behavior. Every day you look at that child of yours, you realize the things how you may have looked like at one point of your life. You realize the things you may have asked for at that age of your life. You see yourself in that child. You start reading their behavioral patterns of lying after they learn to speak. You learn your children. You get to know them. And you realize the world around you has shown you the same faces those kids are giving you when they lie. The unification of generalized education within the home, the understanding that we are all the same, thinking the same. The innocence spiels itself and we lock pieces of them away. But when they get to explode together in unification around the swing set, yeah, you remember being a kid now to a degree, those who weren't robbed so horribly. A mother recognizes the human pattern of behavior so that she can tell her man, that motherfucker is lying, kick his ass. And his mind saw a lie, was confirmed by the mind and body reader, so he dominated that motherfucker. Chaotic. Honey, I think I need to move that rock. Hold on, honey. No, you don't actually have to. Let's put our minds together because I see multiple ways of solving this. So let's look and think with me. Okay, click with me here on this one idea and use your powers there. Your powers being move the rock. Grab your sword. Not that a woman could not grab a sword, but she's not going to move that rock. With intellectual intelligence and using leverage and tools of mechanical maintenance and other stuff like that, she found a way, as nature found a way. Oh, we'll explain that one in a moment too, because somehow humans were here for people to enjoy after their banishment through sin. We have posts to cover those, but you understand the seedlings a little bit now? Are they starting to grow a little bit? I hope so. Conversation about mothers and their fuckers, and how did we technically fuck them? Well, we could say that we sexually did it to them, then we mentally screwed them over, and now their mental capabilities are being double checked by themselves, questioned. Is this? I wonder, can it be? No. I'm told to look at things a different way. But you are the first beings to be able to see multiple webs of patterns with a homemade confirmation, naturally made to a degree. However, growing up, the woman is paying attention to the male's role, mom or dad, and then her mother's role, so that she is learning very quickly. The male, on the other hand, is physically being taken out by his father every day to learn the patterns of a male's way of life. Ooh, that's an old way of thinking that's still being used in this manner of generational thought process. However, we got a lot of shits out there, so it's a lot of shit. The tools used for and against. So the woman who doesn't understand her role or eventually realizes her role a little late can also be manipulated to using her supposed power to manipulate another human in his favor. A lot of underground businesses out there led by lots of women. Granted, the males are behind most of this shit. Again, we always have the fall guys, but lots of women are technically in seat of power. When they recognize their ability, they try to solo venture. That's where patterns. So, see, hold on, wait a minute. I do recognize my powers and abilities. And I realized how I've slithered through this organization. Snakes everywhere. It's a very interesting power. And I'd hate to say that mine is that of a feminine-esque because I see multiple webs of patterns. I think all men see the same multiple patterns that I see. It's just what do you filter? What do you block? What do you selectively and efficiently think about? All of us think about everything. It's just the magnitude of which selective subject we think about with a magnitude level degree of thought too. I think more on survivability financially now. To a degree, you understand? The other one may be thinking about survivability, cleanliness, house. Just examples. I'm not saying these are the only roles for each. No. Nowadays, you have to establish your 50-50 in today's life standards of roles. You have to consider that 1 + 1 in your minds. Truthfully, you already know what it takes. We make sacrifices to gain that addition to fill the void that's missing, whether it's a financial missing and it comes with an unfortunate sexual, or it's a sexual missing but it comes with a lazy fucking no financial. I don't know, to each your own. Want versus a need versus what you think you need versus what you think the want fulfills in the need, and the pyramid scheme turned upside down for you to sit on it and spin. I don't know, the whole world is basically, in my view, turned upside down and spinning on that tippy top of a pyramid scheme, and nobody knows what's getting flushed in and flushed out. Are we getting shat on and continuously spun in and spun out? Recycled and repeated because if reincarnation is real, Indians, I'm going to get to them in a minute as well, then you just get spit right back into that little funnel of, and it's an infinite supply, just like a Matrix idea of humanized battery charging for their technological advancement. It's a similar idea. Similar, not the same. Oh, now those words actually make a difference. Yeah. Oh, diggy. What Webster's are you reading? You can't live with them, but you can't live without them, huh? Why? Because your mentalities don't click at all with your specific goal that you generalized with her, but she didn't. There's an interesting reason for us to drink every day. What about her reason to drink every day too? Because she's got to deal with an ego that doesn't There was no unity here, no unity here. We met through this and we never really expanded this. We met through this and never really expanded this. Had an addition with this one, we gained it and we died. We selectively looked for and we deficiently felt. And so with deficiencies turned us into a selective on the outside because we couldn't gain it from, you couldn't find a conversational balance of your needs and wants within a relationship, your needs and wants within your own personal lives. A conversation you could have had through a first official date, one that didn't lead or start from an alcoholic booze fest. I'm just saying. Has anybody actually ever been out there on a date, a first date, breakfast, lunch, dinner? Remember, the beggar needed something in his cup, and he finally got it, and it came from the most chaotic source this world could possibly conjure, and nobody's happy about it. To a degree. They find a way to be happy about it. Acceptance of a decision, a choice of a free will somebody made, and we can't get them out of it because they freely and willingly have a decent argument for their silliness. An interesting thought process. We'll let that slide for now. I can't live on. I could live with and I can live without. I have learned that about myself. As a matter of fact, if you were to ask anybody in the past, even my current one, because she got the same damn speech on the date, when the feelings grew, I love you, but don't confuse this. I don't need you. Ask any one of them. They've all heard that. That's an interesting social pattern of speech there to use ever in a relationship. Well, no, I love you, but I don't need you. I can stabilize and do things. Listen, at the end of the day, you're more than the physical aspect of a relationship. Trust me, I got a hand for that. A lot of guilty thoughts I don't mind rubbing out when I don't have you. Oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't be using you when I have a dirty thought. I don't know. There is a unification for how we mingle. And then do we ever feel regret for the moment that I treated you in such a manner that day? But that was the day that we created that baby. Interesting. I had that conversation today. Interesting. What if the conception was made of bad deeds? Now your feelings will confirm that as you grow into an understanding. One of you felt good during that moment because they were getting what they wanted out of it. Later on in life, that same person has a regret. So the good feeling altered itself through time. Oh, Father Time. Through time, it altered itself, and a new thought of what I did was actually bad feeling, and I can't change it anymore. I have a regret for it. So now that makes that whole moment no more 50-50 good and bad. All bad. But that was in the past, time changing, time altering. You jumped time, technically. You lived a life in a reality that was falsified to come to a realization of regret. So the reason for that reality has actually turned into the same landing spot, but an actual different path of understanding. With or without consent. Ideas are stolen. Let's get into an interesting aspect of patency, because I may forget it later on in the stream. I don't think I have a post to kind of remind me about it, but patents. You think you have an idea that's original again, only to come to realize that perhaps they allowed you to make so much money, but here comes a culture, a society of people. I wonder who they are. Well, I'll call them out maybe later, because I do have a post that will bring them up. A culture of people with a huge, enormous amount of people in their culture. A huge population. Lots of privatized patents that they don't escape from their culture. So again, you thought you had an idea, but we had 1,000,000,001 ideas saved in our secret little privatized government. And you're making money off of one of them? We want a piece of it, and here's our price for it. You think you have an idea, but how about a population full of people that study nothing but algorithms? Boy, how did that tiny little light bulb inside your television know to turn orange and match 100,000 other little light bulbs to turn orange and show me a nice picture of the sun with the sea of blue? And how did those light bulbs know to change? Bunch of algorithms to tell these light bulbs what color to turn, huh? Who came up with every single one and then unified them into a entertainment thing? Yeah, minuscule ideas. Then crack one open. See this television? Crack it open. Bunch of little green cards and chips with little metal and wiring. Who came up with those? What German? Which Armenian? Which Italian? Which Englishman? Scotsman? Which American? Where are we getting to next? Ancient civilization of people who kept their okay. Other countries have tried. They got broke down. This one's a bit too big. It was combated by a whole nother civilization, by the way. We'll get into that speech, I think. Because how do you combat cockroaches? Well, you're going to have to outbreed them. Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. So they can't live. We're good with that one. Let's move on to the next post. Try to get a little bit more of an understanding of the weekly posts. From the grapevine. Do we understand that saying? The grapevine, the gossip circle, the line of bullshittery that keeps coming. Yeah, okay. Everybody has gossip. So, hey, where'd you hear about that? From the grapevine. How to get there? That's a cloud of information of only people telling certain people, only certain people know. So I know that if this person heard about it, it's only from a couple of sources. The grapevine. Still want some wine? Oil? Okay. Should have cooked with some butter. Oh, but that's too fatty. Oh, okay. To each their own. The ultimate sin. Here we go. Humankind versus a Hunan-kind. Wink, wink. Hint to hint. Mother Nature versus a Father Time. A Big Bang versus the Milky Way. Jokes we play with, I know. A highway to hell, but a stairway to heaven. I know. Metaphors. We'll get to them. Banshees, sirens, whales. The animal and the verb. Verbs are actions. Wailing. Wah! Versus a song. They're beautiful, to each their own. Oh, dearly subdued, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. All you subdued females of power. That goes back to, I guess, my own weird, crazy metaphor use of an idea of the idea that we gave us a Lilith in the first place, this dust and dirt creator of everything. And we'll get into that in a moment, too. Because somebody got fucked over. Forced into it. But found a way. Even I live with an example of that. Was never supposed to happen. But here's an interesting scenario. For later. Let's get past this bullshittery first. Yeah? Well, from the grapevine, I hear about the ultimate sin. I mean, you know what? All leads to the... perhaps let's just break these down a little by little then. So humankind versus a Hunan-kind. Interesting research, what it leads to in its web of references and sources. In my stomach, I guess I always felt there was a weirdness to other people out there. There was, in my eyes, an interesting skeletal structural difference and way of pattern of walking to all kinds of a humanoid type of figures. Hence, we call them races. An interesting thought that always had come. So because it's been so tabooed about don't be racist, don't be this, and don't be that, and don't be just judgmental, and give everybody a 50-50 chance and learn to love everybody. Yeah, I did that, and I learned that confirmations of those weird thoughts confirmed in a weird way, in my own weird way. Well, I'm gonna get crazy with the specifics of my understanding, but definitely one specific race. I guess I kind of led to the alienization, those aliens that landed here, if they landed here, if aliens exist, are there alternative space life forms? Oh, now we're jumping into craziness all over again. It just metaphoring uses, because we call people in this country, in America, the United States of America, anybody who comes from the outside is considered an alien. So we can use those words in metaphorical use and have other definition usages of the word. So let's play with some metaphors then. Damn, English. Another race that even the Irish and the Scots don't like. Okay. Humankind versus Hunan-kind. Just the Hunan food just specifically speaks to Asian food, I guess, to a degree. But Asian food, Asian cultures all derived from, to a degree, their seed, China. Chinese type of Mongols. The Mongols. To a degree, it roots back to there. To a degree, it roots back to there. There's plenty of history out there, even their own written history, that'll expand and so on and so forth. Then the competing history is the Indians, the Native Americans. Actually, yes, there's a reason they were called Indians. But I'm talking about India Indians. Interesting people. I was never told to disregard them. I was never, ever told to disregard them. They were, to a degree, taught to me to always be friendly with them. They're, okay. My parents did have an interesting, just like I think all of ours, good and bads versus all kinds of races and people and religions and talk. Speaking of, what are the Jewish people? Where are you from? Are they specifically Israelites? Okay, Adamites, Canaanites. That's where my argument is about to lead to. Things like that. You may say, well, you spoke about our people because I mentioned a religion. Your people are not a religious of people. They come from a country that have a religion that makes you... You see, the definitive way people want to use their selective reasons to attack and used against you, and then you have to use a lawyer to find a way to wordplay out of the attack the word that you used, and make the whole thing a money financial fuckfest. Diggy diggy dah, diggy diggy dah. Another race of ancient civilization. See, the Egyptians are gone pretty much to a degree. They have what they have today, but it's been altered into whatever it's been altered to. They left behind traces of interesting things, and there's nothing I can believe anymore when they release it, because whatever's understood took years of understanding and translating on their own personal level for them to release an understanding level for us to read potentially what they want us to understand about it. I'm not interested. I like the general idea, and I'll specify it my own metaphorical way. Thank you very much. I don't want to follow and agree with somebody else's metaphorical specific way of understanding for themselves in a supposed united fashion of understanding the white lie, the fogged lie, the bullshittery lie that's fogged over and blindsided into understanding for general public use. No, thank you. I will pass on that whole idea. Just give me the bits and pieces myself to a degree, and what you think they're supposed to understand. And if I see a relation and connection in my own 1 + 1 mathematical way, I bet you I'll come up with a whole different understanding than the one that you specifically wanted me to hop on board with. Not interested. The Canaanites, Adamites, same idea. Okay. The original race of alienized civilization. Because if you remember the banishment of... Oh, wait, hold on. I don't want to ruin that. Well, 2 snakes. Imagine being one with... Okay, no, we can talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. And I'm harping more on Christianity again, I guess, right? But the founding of civilization comes from some kind of majority belief. So if Cain was banished all the way down here, and he was able to find other beings, where did they come from? Was an interesting argument I came from. Well, remember, Big Bang, Milky Way, and ultimate sin. We'll get there, Odin. We'll get there, Zeus. The ultimate rape. Not grape. And beings were found away. And he was able to. You thought it was a sin, a banishment, a punishment? Who's fucking who here? You see the metaphor I just used? Because of information that was universally put out there. You see banishment all the way down to earth. And on earth, he found others sinful. Who are these sinful people? The one who ran away originally, who was not allowed to conceive, but found a way. Found a way. Uh-oh, didn't like you. Lucifer didn't either. I wonder what he saw. Shady and Daddy. Okay. Mother Nature. Lily, you understand now? And Father Time, that fucking fuck. Yeah, we will always be connected to that genetic, unfortunately, because of the way I see the connection to it. What? Maybe you're not from her. Your mother may actually be different than mine. Unfortunately, though, we will have the same father. Brothers and sisters of different races, unite! In some degree. Ding. I had a breathe fest when I figured this out in my own little understanding of ways to a degree. So we all share the same sin to a degree, but how we were conceived of which sin, who wanted it versus who did not. I don't know, submissive. I don't know. What kind of a woman are you really tells a lot. You women have a lot of power. It's not the power of the pussy to a degree. It is the power of your mind that has been subdued. So unlock that, unleash it, believe in yourself, start confirming everything you believe in, and you'll be able to manipulate, if you will, any partner. And in order for you to live in unity, it's going to be a male mentality type of partner. So you see that lesbianism kind of can make sense to a degree. To a degree of oopsie daisy, mix up makesy mo. That would be his mistake then, I guess, wouldn't it? I wonder how his mistake turned into that, because I'm sure as hell it wasn't the natural lady who created, in my opinion, a race of people who believed in a lot of sex. Something she liked, in theory and belief. Something Eve was only missionary for. Who's being subdued, you Canaanite Chinese? There's the attack. Yeah, you like that? And then the two songs, well, Big Bang versus Milky Way. So you see the Big Bang, as I said once before, it could have been her nut. It could have been it was actually his nut, a forcible nut that could have taken billions of 9 billion years, maybe. Interesting number, 9 months, huh? And in their time, 9 months is to us 9 billion years. I don't know, 9 billion years to them is to us 9 months in translation. Like money, how that changes over time, right? They used to live up to 450, somewhat 800, so many years, died at 915 of old age. Nowadays, that's probably 90 years old to a degree of mathematical understanding. What an algorithm. Oh. That's scientific. Oh, it's also religious. Yo, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's just the metaphor that I use to kind of understand the universe in my own pattern. Interesting, who leads that powerful button nowadays happens to be an Asian Chinese scientist that I brought up in an old video, which Michio Kaku, the mastermind one of string theory, that mentions the vibrational unity of dimensional creation to a degree, potential answer to everything. But they created these two little plasma lasers, right? One in like Switzerland or something, and one in I think South America. I don't remember exactly where it is. You look it up yourselves. And if they were to turn on, most likely end up with a big particle explosion, a self-destruct button, if you will, for the Earth. So there is a red button. It's just not a nuke that you think of. That's chemical warfare. No, there is light warfare. Oh, the snake wrapped around the Earth, waiting for Thor to fight. Okay. Maybe they'll force the snake to squeeze the planet into expulsion. Oh, I just used Ragnarok because Armageddon's too weird. Sorry, I'm already here. So, and I don't see myself floating around creating fires of destruction and reincarnating or resurrecting or any of that stuff. That's all. See, if we are all him, then we're all back already. We're already here. We have already been resurrected in his ideological belief. But you see, that's just a memory that they want you to hold. I don't have that memory. Fuck that memory. I am the Antichrist. Ha, 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 ha. Big Bang and a Milky Way, and here we are in God's cream semen. And this is where nature found a way. All right, no, I don't know. I don't know that much of it. But interesting that we call these things what we call them, from a Big Bang creation of the universe and everything that was to come, and from the expulsion of and billions and billions and billions of years of planetary blah, 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 and suns created and explosions and yada yadas. Eventually came our solar system, where it was just the right conditions to create life. Warm-bloodedness. Well, needless to say, humans got here first. Humanoid figures were already here by the time Cain showed up, his banishment, that sinner, that piece of shit, and was told that he was going to end up in a land of sinners, and if those sinners were to harm you, they will be harmed in turn. Interesting, the power he still had over the people there. A godly figure came down. Get the fuck out of here. Again, you gave us Old MacDonald. No, you fucked Old MacDonald. You gave us Johnny Appleseed. We'll get to that post in just a minute. Okay. And then we tried to create Old MacDonald through Johnny Appleseed. Well, he was unappreciated, so he felt about his own job, and now you're going to trust him with Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. A Highway to Hell and a Stairway to Heaven. Those are some songs that we talked about, and I think there was a meme that I actually agreed with. You ever notice that there's a Highway to Hell and a Stairway to Heaven? It says a lot about anticipated traffic patterns. You were all on this road and a course of manipulated mirror life belief of dimensional understanding of good and bad, but we are on a road that's leading us straight to hell. Each and every one, I think. I don't know. I'm just having fun with the metaphor. And the stairway to heaven, because listen, ain't nobody, they can make it up that stairs. That's not an escalator to heaven, no. So you got to walk up them motherfuckers. But you have wings. You're supposed to float up there. I don't understand that either. I don't know. But then there's gates after you get up those stairs too. I don't know. Too many metaphors to be used and put together into an understanding of what the fuck craziness, chaos. Well, I found a way to normalize it for myself. Turned into more metaphors that sound chaotic to most others. And then maybe they found a way to normalize somebody's, not mine specifically, unity with or without me. Some kind of a chaos out there they normalized to their own understanding. I'm just another voice of potential chaos that would like to be normalized. You get it? No. Joker. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. I mentioned in the last video, Metal Gear Solid, a video game that taught me the word kernel with the Colonel spelling. And I never really explained. Well, there was no point. See, those of us who understood the game as, no, you see, you fucked up. It's not a game about Solid Snake and Liquid Snake and Revolver Ocelot and all this government. No. It is generally a game that introduced text and dialogue. So when the dialogue matched the text you were reading and you knew that word was colonel and they said colonel, I gained knowledge by reading a subtitle. So anyway, it is generally the kind of game that introduces a subtexted with dialogue in the game. Now, specifically, it is a game about a governmental and a Fox Die, Fox Live, and Liquid. Specific and generic. We didn't know what you meant, Jin. Yeah, I know. What a confused fucking world of webby lies. You have to figure out the fucking meaning of the specific person, you judgmental creature motherfucker. Did we get that yet? How would you have entered? Yeah, until you knew me, cocksucker, you would have not have known how I thought about the game. I think about everything, generally speaking, because you idiots like to attack and use your specific fucking struggle as a specific, oh my god, you think you're a special fucking flower. You're not. You're in a general category of fucking problems full of other people's specific idiocies. So I pick and poke and prod at your specificity and turn it into a general fuckfest of a solution. But your profession, you dumb fucking cunt, is to turn every solution into an excuse. What a professional way of bullshittery in the head. Interesting. Full of assholes, they say, this world. Full of opinions. Full of excuses. Not enough solutions. No, plenty of solutions, but we just found a way to make an excuse out of every solution because we don't agree with somebody else who simplified my answer. Why was it so easy for you, you cocksucker? Fuck you, and I'm going to rebel against the you. Spiteful ass bitches. Males and females, both the same mental mindfuckery fest, equal in power to a degree, just depends on which ones they have allowed chemically. You see, you guys bury bodies, another interesting metaphor use of potential conspiracy. You guys who like to bury bodies that have used all kinds of pills and chemicals in their whole fucking lives, and you put them in the ground for the chemicals to expulsion in the ground. Yeah, okay. Hollowed ground. I worry about the pills y'all are taking to a degree and sweating it out in life. Well, that same idiot who OD'd is about to get buried, even if he's cremated. HVAC systems. Suck in those fumes, release it into the atmosphere. Oh, there is a culture of people that are built on chemical dependency. They wear face masks for many years. A chemical race of beings that require a necessity in chemicals in order to thrive, and were limited and forced and subdued into children births. Did you guys realize that, by the way, that culture is now allowed to breed more than one by law? They're okay. It's been approved. But they already have billions that they tried to control through birth of one. And even females were frowned upon and had their feet broken back in the day as a sign of beauty, small feet. Interesting culture. Do some research. The monks sang. Just like the siren, a song, you females have been put out of whack. I'm sorry. One of the most beautiful minds to come up with some of the greatest melodies and be able to verbalize them. That's how you used your physical body. Lullaby, Lily, and good night, and go to sleep with this chemical while I've altered the meaning of that image for you. All right, so Metal Gear Solid, yeah. Solid and Liquid, the two snakes introduced in the very first game. Brothers, twins, technically, of scientific creation. And who cares about the rest of that story, but get the basic concept so that you understand here. Scientific creations of twin brothers, which actually had other siblings. Well, that story explodes. Baptized in Hor Aura creates the fathers of all. Two sons. So even those who follow the Cain and Abel understand that they had more than one children, and they had twins each time. Twin symbology, huh? Very interesting sign of the Adamite. Genetically speaking, twins run in your genetics. What runs in your genetics of race? What? Shoo. Interesting. I don't specifically have twins in my genetics, but married in does. Right, cousins? Interesting. Canaanites, who's famous also for having Siamese, Chinese, Asianese, twins. Yeah, they're famous for it. Not them. Not necessarily. They have them. But they're not famous for it. Interesting. Who came from Lily? You could look at how. What did anybody even come from Lily? Was there ever even a Lily? Why do you keep talking about her? I like her. I like her story. I like Lucifer. I like his story. But I metaphor both of their stories my own way. Because I don't believe in the bullshittery. I can't find a way to even not take it literally and make sense of that chaos. I can't normalize any of that shit. I was able to normalize the negative people. I have lived with negative people almost my whole life. I've chosen a free willing path to be friend and close to those of the streets and negative values. I don't have to partake in their activities. But I learn from them. Those outcasts of life that you outcast. Forced into a rehab center. When the truth comes out, when the discussion with me on how and they ended up in any kind of dependency that you guys falsify every fucking day of your lives as a false justification of the reason you're here. Okay. I've heard more than just your fucking story. Multiple fucking ass stories. All unifying in the same kind of a home, but different kind of life. Same kind of life. Different kind of home. Y'all don't know me, actually. That's the problem. That's okay. 1, fucks your mind through your body, and 2, fucks your body through your mind. See, if I weaken this, the rest of this, like a chemical, or if I keep giving you shit, see, those steroids don't work if you're on other shit. See, you end up losing weight. Doesn't look right. And 1 fucks your mind through your body, literally, whether you want to call it a physical rape or any other thing. If I break down your body, I can make you think that you're weak. And if I make you think that you're weak, I can make you act weak, or because of your rebellion towards the belief of it, act in rage of the idea and end up going over the edge of reality and fantasy of the thought you used to have about yourself that somebody was able to manipulate. And you look at certain races, people, the male figures tend to look specifically, and the male figures tend to look specifically. Certain culture both look at the fucking the same, and they both wear kitty earrings and kitty hats and fairy tales. Create some kind of a sexual sickness. Man, was he deprived of a bunch of sex, that missionary motherfucker, that they had to create this shit. Weird belief, metaphor. And yet the people of Kama Sutra, who loved in the idea of multiple pleasurable sexual, Lily wanted the same fucking thing. You see, I don't know what you guys read. She wanted the same thing, motherfucker. Different positions, please. No, missionary only. Well, I'm running away from this. Well, if nobody can have it, if he can't have it, then no one can. But ow, fuck her. Ready for this? Ready? When it happened at a young age and you ruin the insides, you ain't meant to produce. So the miracle happened through a supposed blood dispel. But that blood dispel is called a rape. Get it yet? She was on those medications. She could have burnt that one out too. But she didn't. Mine was. Okay. Venom or constriction. You see, like the snake that wraps around the world, or the one that wraps around your minds, or the one that wraps around your tongues. Or the venom. Who has the power of the sword nowadays? What does you keep spewing venom? What did I mean by that? Well, it's ink on a paper to a degree. You solidify somebody's description of who they are, what they do, what they can do, what's approved of, what they are certified to do. So on paper, the power of the pen, the power of the new sword that spews venom, ink. And they'll constrict you with that. So they ended up finding a way to use both. It's not in always their favor if you know how to fight back. You see, get eaten. It's actually not a problem. Just get shit out and find a way to. I said that before, a long time ago, in videos way back when. Get eaten by the snake. Get shit out so they think they're done with you. Then, when you survive the shitting, come back and attack them with hopefully a unified front. Those who believe in your story realize you got fucked over and you get to come back full force. Interesting. Venom or constriction. Truth with lies. Lie with truths. Oh, yeah. I don't lie with truths. I use truths to lie. Oh, but that's the similar meaning. Oh, but when you selectively want to choose the argument in your favor of how you could see the wordplay when you want it exactly. A bunch of truth with lies and a bunch of lies with truth, and you're lying with your truth, and your truths are all full of lies. A bunch of white lies that end up feeling regretful for, turns that white lie into a black lie now. What a time jump once again, all over again. Boy, I should have never said that. It started a whole chain of shit. Oh, what a regret. Turn that white lie of yours into a agazakale. So, white lie just is a lie. It's a lie. A lie is a lie is a lie. I was lucky enough to create a miracle at the appointment time of Santa Claus, but that is now ruined now that school is back in session and all the kids talk about the fakery of the bullshit. Can never have that miracle again. Can still heal the blind, but I can't reestablish Santa Claus. What a fantasy. But your blindness is an infinite growing definition of potential usages. I normalized chaos through chaotic normalization. It's all carnage or twisted. You see, I made the Venom and Spider-Man kind of connection of webbing of lying. Follow the ocelot. That goes back to Metal Gear Solid. It's also a cat, and I am Leo, the cat, August birthday, also born year of the snake. So a snake and a cat, lion, prideful sinner, I guess. Interesting. Prideful temptation, temptation of pride, sinful of pride, hubris man. I don't know. You have to look into the meanings yourself. Your own understanding of all this horoscope shit that you guys like to read. Right. But it's all unified understanding. It's not just, interesting. Well, let's connect the stars. Yeah, Mom has been talking for a long time. Y'all don't listen to her. And now y'all are numbed out to the feeling of the planet itself. Some cultures try to keep that. Hence, I said, one culture said, these cockroaches are breeding. Who the fuck are they? Showed up out of nowhere. But they breed like motherfuckers. And they spread poison. Venom, poison. They are different, I understand, because it comes from different creatures. They use their serpentine tongue. My father once described the Chinese language specifically as the language of sound, because if you don't use the appropriate sound during the dialect use, dialect, a word I'll get to in a second. If you don't use the appropriate sound and the correct dialect use of it, it turns into a whole complete word and or phrase and or understanding of every cocksucking thing. Well, if the first humans spoke similar aspect, how do we communicate with these guys? They seem to be doing this song. Let's find a way to assimilate. And then they created their own song. Other cultures of language have changed over the years, but interesting. But this culture says, how do we do this? Children of Lily to a degree. See, this is my natural belief, natural spirit energy. Okay. So the longevity thing, that was another argument I was bringing into. So how do we outbreed these cockroaches? We got to breed just like the cockroaches in order to combat these cockroaches. Both cultures are the only biggest and longest latching cultures that are out there. Both traditionally spread their culture through not just text, but through verbal teaching specifically, so that they understand the text the way it's meant. Molded snakes on one end, not necessarily on this end. This end is mostly of verbal teachings. Because it's a feeling, a teaching, a feeling, spiritual energy and connection, chakra crystals. I brought that up in a few videos before. And what I meant to bring them up as a chakra crystal is like a knowledge crystal. Kiddo here, for example, comes from an interesting past. A bunch of crystals have been growing from mommy and daddy, and all kinds of crystals form from there. Well, all I can do is chop off a negative learning crystal and build on that a new seed of learning. That crystal will forever have the memories attained thus far. However, I can mold those memories into I guess, my own way, if you want to call it that. But that's how you build on a negative aspect. Chop off the growth. It's like a tree that you kill in your yard. Unfortunately, what a shame. But then you poison it so it don't grow no more. To a degree, kind of the same thing. You chop off the crystal. The crystal will continue to grow. However, it was originally growing on one directional road. You ended up chopping it off and establishing a new seed to grow upon the growth. And when united, that's only by the child themselves, when they accept the seed themselves as a path that they also can see. Then will they start growing in that branch that you did not have to force tie. You were able to plant a seed somewhere. So here's my chance of planting more seeds of growth and knowledge in a different behavioral or any other direction of her life in the future, no matter how long we end up staying together. See, I have to think about the worst. I expect it. I hope for the best always. The best could be the worst in a different way. You just have to look at why the worst can be the best. Because the best for is not always the worst for, and the worst for is not always the best for. Maybe the worst is for the best. You have to be able to see those roads, and you have to accept them. Needless to say, follow the ocelot, follow the cat. I'm a cat that I would like for the world to follow to a degree, just not follow, but like, because I claim to be trying something, I guess. Would be interesting. Follow the cat. The thing with 9 lives that's tried more than once, burnt and died a few times, and has reincarnated after its mistakes. Hi, Jesus. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Let's put a try in the set it straight column. When I made this argument, maybe a few videos before, and even a few times, a religion even twisted so much by the tongue that even the person untwisting it, see, at first I didn't believe. You are untwisting unfortunate things, yeah, but how do I trust that you'll stop twisting when I get set straight, and instead you don't manipulate your willing untwisting into a twist of your own? Whoop, now here we set straight, and I can continue molding you, or allow you to hopefully build on your own, to each of their own. Is it your own? Are you sure it was? Where does the root of that thought process come from? How many different people did you have to think about for the appropriate information to get stuck to you? All these people told me these kinds of things. I have to listen to auntie, grandma, this one. Interesting. Is it really yours? Somebody was able to say something convincingly mental fuck me, but because I was raised a certain way, I can't. Exactly, I know. Break those goddamn traditions. Chisel that off. Plant a new seed on it. See if it grows. Not just to my kid. You see how I can become a father of all without having to father any at all? A way of word playing so that I'm okay with a supposed way of life. I don't mind. I don't need, want, I don't know, kids. Would be nice, I guess. But the need? No. What I need is to spread my seed, and I don't need a child of my own to do that. I need anybody willing to let my seeds grow. You see how I just unified everybody? Anybody willing to let my seeds grow. Different seed. I got a lot of bad seeds, so I prefer not to touch your daughters. I prefer not to touch your children, because I want the correct one, which is kind of hard to do now, and an alternate sexual way of thinking in today's life, and what we can accept as sexual behavioral pattern in the bedroom together. And will I feel good about it? Should it create something? Or do I have a regret about that day because I paid the price to guarantee that wish for me, for us? I did it for the family, but now you regret it. Okay. Imagine being one with or of the land and beast, and still you feel alone. A damned evening, Adam, Eve, a damned evening. through love or force, was your conception. I already pre-talked that, so I may slide past this post. Well, let us ask Zeus. He raped every single fucking one. Let's ask Odin. Did the same fucking thing. Ask God. Ask Lily. Because that was the day. Holy shit for me. She found a way. But unfortunately, it took. You see, I will banish you from having children. Same as this one was ruined in her early childhood through a sexual act that ruined her insides, and she was never supposed to. But here's the miracle. A miracle that came through what's claimed in metaphor a spell, a curse, a blood tie. She was forced. Even throughout the pregnancy, she ended up getting forced again by a stranger towards the end of it to ruin the inside some more. Then when our time came, yeah. Ask your creator. Concert? Which concert? How many drugs were involved? What bar? Which car? What movie? What holiday was it? My parents were big. What users of what? How did they fuck? How about being actually told they didn't want? You were a mistake. Oh my God. Ask your creators. Your name tells you a lot. Where it comes from, which name you're keeping, things like that. What do they mean? Trace those back. Do some research on your own bloodlines. Find out some truth to yourself. Okay, next post. Do you speak parcel tongue? Harry Potter for snake talk, shit like that. Parcel tongue. Translate this. You were gifted Johnny Appleseed without Old MacDonald. Mary had her lamb on a hill with Jack and Jill. Well, who fetched the pail of water? The three little pigs who got chased by a big bad wolf who was only trying to get Little Red Riding Corvette? Hood, I know. Little Red, oh, Prince, the fucking pedophile you guys didn't consider at all because you crazed about Michael Jackson. The seed of my worst has grown fruitfully within fantasy that it branched out into reality, and this tree now casts shadow upon the world. My worst nightmare was that my mother was right. Well, if I claim that my mother is not Eve, if I want to believe in some religious fantasy, and I claim that my mother is natural, nature, I come from a seed of the first human beings that were put here, the sinners, supposed sinners, the one who were created through a sin, a forceful act. Go fuck yourself, you fucking tongue-twisty snake yourself, cocksucking piece of shit. And I feel one with nature every day. I never feel alone. I always feel like my father to a degree, one with the animals, the squirrels, and everything that he fed in our homes that we grew up in. My mother herself, too, as well, got acclimated to the dogs we finally brought into the house. I myself now live with cats. Well, selective animals of domesticated. Domestication. Well, this will be a good video today. I thank you guys for joining me so far. We still have more posts to go. You were gifted Johnny Appleseed. In your story, you got Cain. You got the fucking farmer who felt like a piece of shit. Without his brother, Old MacDonald, the farmer. But they tried to do both now here. The failure in the eyes of, right? The manipulation of. Okay, what a fucking story. Y'all still didn't watch Naruto? You get the shadow creature yet? You understand that legacy yet? Okay. They talk about a tree too and a fruit of power, but okay. I know it's a metaphor, characterization. Mary had her lamb on a hill. Who fetched the pail of water? The three wise men. Oh, the three little pigs who got chased by a big bad wolf in sheep's clothing who was only trying to get after the Little Red Riding Hood. And the seed of my mother being, And it branched out into reality because I'm using, again, a humanized fantasy of stupidized creation, whatever. But I do feel certain things. There's a connection to this knowledge out there. There's an interesting connection to the knowledge out there. And feelings arise from that. Confirmations worthwhile asking questions about. Shut down by the majority of the world. Selectively chosen by the outcasts, rebels of old paganistic belief. Interesting partner. Interesting mother. And this tree has grown and cast a shadow upon the world. Again, the anime says that it just, it sucks you back in and gives you a dream world. The shadow that's been cast here is a bunch of human beings literally walking around in a fantasy bubble dream world of theirs that they think is a reality every day at the bank, every day at the office, every day. Again, I thought I was the one in a bubble. No, darlings. My bubble popped at 5 years old. And I realized and confirmed that the bubbles have been walking around me. Zombie-like creatures of disbelief, and this is the way it is. See it our way. And yet those same people you catch at a bar, wallowing in their sorrow, confessing to you, the guy who's there for different reasons, and then they confess a regret that they had after about 6 shots in. Just saying. All that money for that family that you sacrificed for the greatness of your survival. What a bunch of wordplay, cocksuckery, fuckfest. Any snake tongue you can use to make other people believe in that white lie, when that explodes into the blackness, the darkness of the truth, the sacrifices. Maybe that's what the way of the world is. And if the way of the world is dark, brighten it up and lighten the world. Change it. Do something about it. That's it. That's it. That was actually the very last post. So, okay. I think we had a fairly interesting session today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight on the Laughing Lamp Salty Coat Conversation Session number 24 with me, your host, Jin of the Lamp, your innermost fear. Have a good night. Stay well and stay safe, ladies and gentlemen. Take care and be safe.